Hey, it's Wayne's World and Kelly. It's episode 56. Wayne, good to see you, my brother.
Good
Um,
to see you, mate.
it's just one of these ones that it's a weird day. Our goal was to just kind of do a lot of recapping and forecasts and all that stuff. But Idalia is hitting the West Coast, and it's blowing up Wayne's phone, and and this is a good example of saying we don't get excited for stuff, even though it's going to be a lot of business, mainly a lot for your business, a lot of other companies, not so much for mine, although we're always available for people for rebuilding consultation. We do bigger, longer term projects, and some of them have, been affected by the weather, obviously, but it's a kind of a somber day. I mean, last night I put it out on LinkedIn about how a band came through here, and all of a sudden I look out the window and the palm trees are sideways, and the rain was coming down, and I'm like, wait a second, and so I had to check my phone because my dish network went out. I don't like dish, in case anybody has an opinion. I don't like it, but because it goes out, I swear, you sneeze and the darn thing goes out. But anyway, it's hitting people hard. So Wayne, you've already talked to some people on the West Coast. So go ahead and share.
Yeah, I have a pretty good friend. Her house is basically, kind of underwater, to put it lightly,
She was a guest on our show.
right. She's fine, but just real world examples of people that we know that are going to be going through a lot of hardship. And it's the biggest thing I've learned. So this will be actually my 16th hurricane that I've worked in my career. And it's the water that gets everybody. It just sits and it churns in the warm waters, and it gathers steam, and then when it hits, it's just horrific. I've already seen stuff on the news. I've been pretty much up all night. And yeah, there's a lot of work to do, but us Floridians will get through it like we always do. And yeah, like, we don't want to turn this thing somber, like you said, but this is
Right.
also reality. So
And I did some hurricane chasing in my day with A1 Flood Tech with my friends Greg and Packy. Um, and it was exciting and fun, but I'll tell you what, we were in New Orleans, we did Nashville, but the Nashville one really affected me bad because we were able to get in and see the damage, but the water had recessed pretty well. It wasn't like New Orleans where it just stayed. And you see these people's houses, and you can see just 7, 8, 9 feet of debris on the curb, sort of like a bad winter snow you have up north. But it was people's belongings, and you could see, it was like a tricycle, or in a lot of photo albums and a lot of stuff, and it tore me up to see that. And then we found a church that had no money and no insurance, and we weren't finding any paying clients because we got a little late to the show. But it was one of the most incredible life change experiences for me, and I think everybody that was down there with us. I wish we could bring Greg in for a second so we could talk about it, but it was really unbelievably impactful. We did a lot of commercial work, so water damage on an office building, no big deal. When you see it hit thousands of houses and it's people's belongings, it's painful to witness. And you just it's your heart that makes you want to work hard, not your wallet at that point.
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I constantly evangelize a priority service agreement with whoever you trust to make sure that somebody is there for you when something like this happens. Because now, just like, it's not even a year going on, Ian, um, we're going to be facing this all over again. And at some point, you think people would listen to us when we tell them that, but I guess people's habits are hard to change. They think it's never going to happen to them.
Right.
But wow, it's really affecting Tampa, Big Bend, stuff that is north of that, the Panhandle. Man, this thing might rival Ian, with how big this is, because it is a Cat 4. Well, it briefly hit it, but whatever.
Right.
It's still.
Yeah,
you know.
and it's not necessarily, the cat's just the wind speed. It's that
Right.
water that does so
Oh
much
yeah.
damage. And, what's fire to me is the worst thing. And, I actually had a childhood friend who had to evacuate. He was actually living in the town in Hawaii, in Maui, where it happened, and now he's back in the United States. He's battling some health issues too, so it was devastating. I can't imagine fire, but water. People just don't realize what water can do, and it's just so devastating. Um, there's no other place I want to live, but I do know that any time, we our lives could be very impacted. And on the East Coast, we've been very blessed for a number of years. The last storm we had 6 years ago, wasn't that bad. Now we did have that little one, and we had our guest. What was it last week? We had the man, no, 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember. The My neighbor who's very involved with pickleball, and her house got trashed in this little mini storm that we had. It was unreal, and it didn't affect where I live, a couple miles away. We sit up a little higher than they do, but from the Fort Lauderdale airport north and south of that for like 10 miles just was devastated. In her house, I think she said 80% damage.
Yeah, that was
Denise
Denise, I think.
Cassell. So it wasn't
Yeah.
that, yeah. But we didn't talk too much about that, but who thought a couple weeks later we'd be dealing with this? And it's just it breaks my heart. And then here's another thing. I watch people on social media. I do a little bit of Facebooking, and I have friends that live over in that area, and they were kind of like going, "Hey, whatever." They're just trying to promote a weather event. You got to take this stuff serious, and here's another example because it is hitting hard. Here's somebody we had on the show, and her house is being devastated right now by the storm, and I know she took it seriously because she's a smart woman, and she's a smart Floridian, but it just breaks my heart. It's not. It's just like wow, but it's exciting that Virginia, where I'm from, already sent Fairfax, Virginia. I think sent 80 people down 2 days ago to mobilize to help, and you have all these other these groups that come in and help when this stuff does happen, and I think it brings out the worst and the best in people.
Yeah, I definitely saw that last year. I mean, I think the most heartwarming thing I saw was, as a first responder, when we were going in to do inspections, um, I noticed behind me coming up over this kind of hilly part of the interstate, it was just massive headlights, and it was hundreds of FPL trucks.
Right? Oh, isn't
And
it amazing?
oh my God, I had goosebumps,
Yeah.
teary eyed, like kind of to your point is, well, I don't know why it takes a tragedy for Americans to come together, but whatever, we are going to help each other, and we will help each other. And thank you, FPL. And please, everybody, slow down. That was my big theme last year. I remember saying on one of our podcasts, slow down. You get into accidents, ambulances and fire trucks and FPL cannot get through. Please. We are the worst drivers in America. I love Florida. It's my proud state. Slow down. God, if I reach one person saying this, it'll be worth it.
I hear so many people talk about what state has the worst drivers.
It's Florida by far.
And it's like, what? It's really not a competition. I'm sorry. It's the Floridians are so bad. I saw some of those crazy things when I first moved here 5 years ago. I saw
Right.
people going a couple times going up entrance ramps as an exit ramps as an entrance ramp. I saw a vehicle going the wrong direction on 95. I'm like, this is not real.
Right.
It's just, and it's I start joking. It's those darn Canadians. No, but there's just so many bad drivers here. It's and fast. And,
right.
But you have to be careful. You're right. People can't respond to stuff. What's the other There's another. It's a big company that supports, FP&L and all over the country. And I see their trucks every time I go to an event. I'm blanking on the name of the company, but you see the name. It's like the cavalry coming. And
is it a public utility company or what?
no, it's a private utility repair,
Okay.
and they're massive. And I apologize. Maybe I'll post their name and
Okay.
one of their trucks. But it is exciting to see. When we were in Nashville, I saw some of the national, like Cotton, and some of the big national or international companies that respond for water damage restoration. They're companies out of Texas, and you see. We had a business. We had like 20-foot box trucks. We had one 25-foot box truck, and we were massive in DC. A1 Flood Tech was the go-to company. And you pull into New Orleans or Nashville or some of these stuff we had in Florida, and you'd see 75 18-wheelers full of equipment.
Yep.
Like, wow, you could fit our entire company like two of those trucks. But
right.
And people complain about here's something a little from the past. We go and we take care of a building. Let's say it's a hotel, and somebody hits a sprinkler head and they flood out 15 floors. And we go in there and we spend 3 to 5 days, and we get it all cleaned up and everything looks great. And they're back in business and they're out making money on these rooms again. And they're your superheroes. They're buying the crew pizza and they're thanking me because I was the go-between to make everybody get there. And we're superheroes, right? And then the bill comes, and then they're like, oh. It's like, it takes a lot for companies to operate. It's not like you're just being there. There's down times where you still have to have a full crew, and if things aren't happening, you still got to pay them. You get all that equipment you're paying for, insurance, overhead, hopefully some profit, all that stuff. I don't want anybody getting ripped off, especially on events like this. But you also have to understand, when our company went down to my old company, A1 went down years ago to New Orleans, they commandeered a pickup truck that we had with a big diesel tank in it. The National Guard said, "Hey, we're taking that." So then we're down there. We can't run our equipment, because we had generators that took diesel, and you can't run them because they commandeered your diesel. So,
wow.
So now we're on the phone trying to find somebody else sell us some diesel, and that price went up, and you got to pass it on. You can't, we weren't the Red Cross. We had everybody else had families to feed. We didn't have people giving us money, the government or anything else. We were for profit. And we were fair. We didn't take advantage, but we also had to pay our people. Sometimes and like we went to Tennessee. I don't think I really got compensated properly. Greg, Patrick. Anyway, it's just tough. But 56 episodes, huh? Can you believe it?
Yeah. Wow. We're going to run this thing into perpetuity, brother. I mean, it's been a good run. Let's just keep it up,
And we got a lot of exciting guests coming up. And we normally don't talk about it. I do want to talk a little bit about some past guests we've had, although I don't want to leave anybody out, which is impossible because we're going to. But some of the ones we've got coming up, I've got we have a guy that is in the Planet Fitness business, and he was very successful in bodybuilding. He was world ranked power lifter. I knew him since high school. Nice guy, right? And he gets involved with a little company called Planet Fitness several years ago, and he'll tell the whole story, so I'm not going to ruin it. But he's coming on in a couple of weeks. But this guy went from it was decades of having his own gyms, and there were times where he didn't pay himself for months at a time. Had a very loving and supportive wife, and now they have a place in Naples, and unfortunately, I think it got passed. I think Naples got spared this time, but in a storm. But the guy hasn't changed. He's still one of the greatest guys I've ever known. So excited to have him on. And we also have a friend of mine that we had a cable TV show up in the DC market 12, 13 years ago, and she's going through very serious health issue right now, and she's actually going to share with us what she's going through, which it's gonna be tough. We've been friends since, once again, high school, and she's 39 now because I'm 38 and she's a year older than me. But when she's telling me about what she's going through, and I can't even believe I think I brought it up. I said, would you be willing to talk about it on the show? And she said, yeah. And I know that's kind of hard she has, but
Right.
it's hard for us to talk to. It's hard to talk to her about it one-on-one. I mean, me, I just use jokes to get through it. But and she, everybody goes, oh, she's such a wonderful person. She really is. She is like she could have been an international model. She's absolutely stunning and funny and caring and just a wonderful human being. So that's a couple of the guests we have coming up that I'm excited to share with. But what are some of your favorite ones we've had in the last 55 episodes?
Oh, good Lord. There's been so many. I like the Rockin Wellness gal. I loved her story. Everybody that's come on has had a unique story. Everybody has a journey. I enjoyed Ben Friedman. His is a kind of like an against all odds story. Comes from New York into an area he doesn't even know. People that persevere. It doesn't even need to be a dollar amount attached to anything. It's the characteristics, qualifications that people bring in the meritocracy that we have in the United States that allows people to reach their full potential if they can solve a problem, if they can bring something that people need. Those people are my heroes. People that overcome odds. I don't know. I mean, those are always the people that I've been attracted to regarding their personalities. It's not about how much money they make. Yeah, we all work for a living. We do want money. It's good to have money. It's good to want it. But what it does to you and how it can change your personality for the good, all money does is really amplify the type of person you are right now. Right. And these people that we have had on are fantastic and very inspirational. We've had very good guests on here.
Who would have ever thought Jordan Goldman would have ever had anything whatsoever?
Jordan was fun, man. We got to have him on again. He was easygoing and chill. I liked him. I mean, there hasn't been, Shannon with Hotwire with her stories about world travel, how important it is, for her to maximize her free time. Man, there hasn't been really any weak links in the Wayne's World and Kelly chain.
We had that loser Dutch. Here's this guy, his dad wanted him to play sports. He wanted to do ballet, but his dad wanted to play baseball.
That's bad parenting. Yeah, I'm glad everybody saw that.
Collins is his real name. And Derek, who I met on the golf course. Zero personality, doesn't, looks like just a fat slob. No, he's missed. I mean, it's his athleticism was just, it's so obvious. But what I liked best about him, and that was definitely to me, I was waiting for ESPN to call us up and say, can we have the rights to that interview? The fact that here's this guy, he's in his 30s, he's made a lot of money. You can Google it. It's not, it's no secret. And he's so selfish that he starts an organization and funds it to help kids with cancer and the families and everything. I mean, that would you say it magnifies a person's success is magnified by their it amplifies, which is a great word.
Amplifies it. Yep.
There's a lot of selfish athletes that you see them they end their career and they're broke. We had a PGA golfer that apparently was charged with spousal abuse in Miami recently. And, you hear all the horror stories of what athletes do, but then you see these great ones and it's like, wow, just keep giving. And to me that is just, it's an honor to know people like that,
Amen, brother. Absolutely. But yeah, those are some noteworthy people that,
and there's so many. And if we didn't mention you, we comment all the time. We could list, 50 names of our favorite guests that we've had on the show. It's just been unreal. I mean, who would have thought that, we'd meet the new pickleball spokesmodel? And
yeah, I mean, she's great. You know, she's gonna
Yeah.
bust through that insidious ageism that, you know, people unfortunately are all going to encounter if they live long enough. She doesn't care. She's going right through it, and she'll do it too. I mean,
It looks like she's
again,
30. That doesn't hurt, you know.
yeah, that does not hurt at all. You know, and she really knows her stuff, and she's been around a lot of you know, on TV and social media. Right place, right time for her, right? I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and how? Because she's made it happen. You know, there's a lot.
Right.
What is it? I pointed out a while back from serious research that the average podcast lasts less than 3 episodes.
Yep.
You know, and you just keep doing it. And what amazes me is I got a phone call last night from Michelle, and she says I've got 3 NFL people that want to be on the show. You know, and they just want to, you
Yeah.
know, and people that we know or people that we know are finding out about what we're doing, and we're getting more impressive people the more we go on. I mean, it's just, or I won't say more impressive. I can't believe the list is so long.
Right.
I had somebody reach out to me and I said, well, you know, we can get them in October, or I got a little bit in October, a little bit in November scheduled. So we got some openings there, but you know, forget about September. It's done.
Yeah.
And we cleared out this one. I actually cleared out spaces over this past 56 episodes where you and I said, okay, we're going to leave that open for us. And then what happens is somebody gets in front of us and we're like, oh, we got to have them on the show. And so boom, we kick that one out. I kind of enjoy not having people, because I don't even like people. So I just like you. So
That's funny, bro. I'm the same way.
there might be somebody in Philadelphia I like a lot, but
Or Dawn Miller. Dawn Miller. Even
Dawn,
though she'll never come on the show, whatever.
yeah. So who won't come on, but
Right.
and we're gonna do a couple. Well, you're more remote than I am. I don't know if I've ever been remote. Have I?
No, dude, you have not. That's funny. Yeah, I'm at the Autoplex in Minneapolis, you know, leaving tomorrow, which I can't get anywhere anyway because all the bridges and roads are closed. But anyway, I'll be back obviously
Why are
very
the
soon. And
roads closed up there?
well, it's all closed, brother. Tampa. I mean, they closed the
And
big
up,
Causeway Bridge.
I thought you meant up where you are.
No, no. But yeah, I'm either, you know, in a hotel or in an airport lounge or whatever. But I'm looking forward to taking care of my clients, which, you know, as soon as the National Guard and everybody can let us in. But
Right.
yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll give a frontline, uh, you know, podcast next week from there. Who
Right.
knows? But
A great
yeah,
next week. Very
what's
exciting.
that?
We have a
Yeah,
very exciting guest. But no, it's tough. I mean, you know, it's I'm just, I hate being in the middle of it, but not being in the middle of it. I miss those days where we used to go and storm chase. But it's for what we were able to do, not for the business aspect of it.
right,
Because we're helping
right.
people, and they know, and that's the big thing. And people got to be careful. So here's a little public service announcement. Even though people get warned all the time, there are bad people that come into Florida to try to make money, or wherever something bad happens,
Yep.
try to profit off it. So be extremely careful. Just be very careful. Make sure it's a reputable person. We had Miss Griffin from
Oh
DBPR,
yeah,
and
Melanie Griffin. Yeah.
go to their website. If you know, on your phone, you can go to their website and see if the business that's trying to do business with you is a legitimate company. Do your homework. I know you're trying to make quick decisions when stuff like this happens, but don't make a bad thing get to worse. And that's,
Yeah, I talked to somebody yesterday that got scammed by a very big name company, very well known, who I would love to mention, but I cannot. So ask your questions, try and do your due diligence. This is a time when you have to keep your emotions in check because you're going to need their help. And
without
the only
name, what happened? Because that's, I mean, I'm sitting there saying check them out, if they would have checked them out, I would assume they would have cleared.
The deliverables were less than what was promised. They did not do all of the work and they overcharged. Again, it's tough.
Or was it a very loose contract?
Dude, I don't know, man. You know, I didn't see the verbiage. I was just trying to help her out. She's on a board at the last minute. She had reached out to me because, again, the priority service agreements, what is she doing? She's calling me that the storm is hours away.
Right.
Right. I mean, what can I do?
Right.
I mean, I'm just telling you, everybody, please, priority service agreements. All right, I'm done. If they haven't got it by now.
You know, at LGC, you know, we're an owner's rep. And what we do, I very rarely talk about it, if someone's going to do a major renovation, restoration, or beautification project, or if it's a large scale repair to your high-rise building, your clubhouse, or whatever, where our impact's going to be taking you from planning to getting you back to normal and all set up and all codes qualified and all that good stuff. But we always make sure you bring us in early, because and then we're going to bring your attorney in, because we're going to make sure that we have everything in place, all the mechanisms, to where the contractor or the engineer or whoever the person is or company is bound by a contract to do what they say they're going to do. Sounds like in this situation that contract wasn't reviewed properly or by the right person. Your association attorney is great for your association, but get a construction attorney if it has to do with a major repair job. You know, the what is it? The devil's in the details, or the lack of details. And every month, my people on my team are telling me we saved our client X amount of dollars because the GC's quantities were incorrect or accident. And it's a lot of times it is the people that are doing the billing aren't the same people doing the work. And so we go through it with a fine tooth comb. We want to make sure that the hours that are being billed by an engineer for a certain month are correct. And some of it's in their contract, and some of it they can charge additional for. And if that's written in the contract, that's fine. But if it isn't, it's not okay. And it's one of the many things we do is we protect people on that. But you protect yourself first. You know, I talk to people all the time there, and they get really nervous about what's going on. It's like, let's take a breath. You know, one of our things is let's slow down to hurry up. So even though this is, a lot of people are going to be in crisis mode, you know, let's keep our heads and let's breathe and bring in the proper people to protect you. And don't let even if it is some big national company, you know, let's not let them take advantage of you because of the situation you're in. So
good way to end it, brother.
Yeah. So so when are you flying back?
I'm driving back. We got a whole bunch of stuff from our place here in Minnesota that we shut down. So taking off tomorrow. Take 2 days to get back there. Again, that's probably when I'm going to be able to start, you know, looking at stuff. So, and hopefully everything will be cleared, because I know I'm still going to have to be looking at the radar, especially when we get to Georgia. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of roof work, unfortunately, and there's a lot of y'all haven't even gotten to from the last.
I know. I know.
And that's, you know, so, but I'm going to post your cell phone number on the.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So we'll
okay, dude.
Normally don't do that, but it's a little, you know, if you have some huge issues with roofing, you know, Wayne's the guy. I mean, you know, these guys have been doing this for decades and they know what they're doing. There's a lot of good companies out there, but you know, Wayne's is, you know, he's one of the top ones. So,
thanks, bro.
You know, we're going to keep everybody in our prayers. You know, I made a comment recently. Wow, we've been really blessed this hurricane season. It's not my fault. My comment didn't say that, you know, but or didn't make it happen. But man, you know, you hate it when it happens. So we wish everybody be safe. We're thinking about you, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And have a very safe trip heading home, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. Take care.